Wait, don't shoot, get down! Yes, taking a reference from today's review of Resident Evil 2 from Terry Fan. Continuing my week of reviews leading up to Resident Evil 6. So, after this review is 2 down, 3 to go. And give everybody a fair warning, when I review Resident Evil 3, it's going to have to be on the PSP, but I'm not showing any game footage. Because I don't have the game on a disc format. I'm trying to look for it. Anyway, I just want to give everybody a fair warning. Yeah, today I'm reviewing Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation. First, there was the disaster at the Mansion Lab. The Umbrella Corporation developed the T-Virus, a mutagen toxin for use in bioorganic weapons. After breaking loose, living things mutated into all sorts of creatures that excuse me. The case was eventually closed, but Umbrella experiments were far from over. Can you survive the horror? Now is the worst possible nightmare. A new virus runs rampant. All Raccoon City is infected with bloodthirsty zombies. Ferocious mutants now overrun the community. When Leon and Claire arrive in town, their nightmare is just beginning. Now you control their destiny. If the suspense doesn't kill you, something else will. You can see footage with Leon as Kennedy. More of the main protagonist. Let me show you guys the disc. And yeah, this thing has seen better days, but to have the game, it's hard to be upset about it. There's this one with Leon as Kennedy. That's basically the game you play as. Basically, with Resident Evil 2, they decided to put, instead of letting you have the normal option of just picking between the main protagonists like you did with Chris and Jill in the first game, they put it on 2 separate discs. Like, disc 2 has Claire Redfield, the sister of Chris Redfield, and Leon S. Kennedy, the police rookie, on his first day of the job. Resident Evil 2 was in development for 2.5 years. Simsy McConney wanted to make the game sequel as good as possible. And they had a completed version of the game, but they decided to scrap it and start all over into what we now have, Resident Evil 2. There was a character, I can't remember her name, but her last name was Walker. She was a character that was supposed to be like Claire Redfield, but unfortunately she was taken out of the picture. I hope they do make a game where she will be a character, you know, like a hero or a villain. We'll just have to cross that bridge when we come to it. The game takes place 2 months after the events of Raccoon City, 2 months after the events in the mansion. They basically they don't have Leon. I mean, Leon and Claire are the 2 main protagonists in this game. Leon S. Kennedy is a police rookie arriving in town, and Claire Redfield is arriving in town to search for her brother Chris. But they soon learn that the town is now infected with zombies, and now they have to join forces to survive the nightmare. And they will meet up with 2 other characters, depending on who you play as. With Leon, you meet Ada Wong, and with Claire, you meet Sherry Birkin, the daughter of the main antagonist, one of the main antagonists, William Birkin, who's actually responsible for the outbreak of the city. Since they arrived in town unaware that the city is now placed under martial law and is now infested with zombies and liquors and much more. And you do fight a tyrant in this game, Mr. X. That's one tough son of a bitch. I have to show you guys this story. I know there's a lot of moments in Resident Evil history that was scary. This one stands out a lot to me. I remember in 2000, my cousin brought over Resident Evil 2 to play, and at the time my house had a big window in the dining room that was about the same size as the gun shop you enter at in this game. That's the first building you explore when you play Resident Evil 2. And I'll never forget this. When the zombies broke through the windows, it scared me, and every day since, I refused to stay near that window because it reminded me of that cutscene from the video game. I'm still traumatized by that too. You all are probably thinking, come on, that was 12 years ago. Well, it's the principle. Fear like that never leaves you. Anyway, back to the story. It's not hard to find. The game really, in my opinion, is one of the reasons why we have sequels for games. And this one, despite not having Jill or Chris in this game, actually, if you go when you're in the police station, if you go over near the STARS logo, you see a picture of the main STARS teams. The game still has that atmosphere of fear, and this time, not being in a mansion, you're in a city where there's monsters no matter where you go. Basically, you're just surrounded by these creatures with little hope of escaping. I said the graphics were better, and since there were more zombies on the screen, it gave you more of a challenge. And the story, really, in my opinion, was pretty good. Basically, as you play, you basically understand the story more as you play and get to know the characters in the game and find out how Umbrella is still, despite the incident in the mansion, still up to their old tricks. And the horrors in this game really deliver as much as the first one did, so it appears that this one should be inducted into the Hall of Fame if they ever made a video game Hall of Fame for video games. The whole Resident Evil series. But yeah, this game really, in my opinion, was just as good as the first game, if not better. And depending on who you like more, Leon or Claire, you get. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's also bonuses too, like you get an extra scenario with Leon and Claire. Depending on how well you did in scenario A, you get to play scenario B with the respective characters, and you learn more about the events in Raccoon City. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Resident Evil series, I recommend picking up Resident Evil 2. It's just as scary as the first one, maybe even scarier. I give Resident Evil 2 a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching and take care. Resident Evil 2.